Hello. Today I am going to teach a study guide on the Ohio Assessment for Educators for the English Language Arts 20 test. The first domain is vocabulary, reading, comprehension, and reading various text forms. The first competency is understanding strategies for developing vocabulary knowledge and reading comprehension. The first subcompetency is to use knowledge of syntactic rules and word structure and contextual analysis skills to help identify word meanings. Syntax is the order of words. Syntax is how a sentence makes sense. The sentences are created with words, and the words are put in a certain order that conveys a specific idea. Sentences are made up of a subject and a predicate. The subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence is about. So a subject usually is a noun, and the predicate is what happened in the sentence. So the predicate usually is going to start with the verb. So for example, the dog runs. The dog is the subject of the sentence and runs is the predicate. The dog is a noun and runs is a verb. Word structure. The word structure of a word is usually made up of a root word and affixes and morphemes. Morphemes or morphology is the study of words and how they are formed in their relationship to other words. So morphemes are the smallest part of a word that conveys meaning, and they can be added to different words while having a separate meaning. So a root word is a morpheme, and so are affixes. A root word can exist all by itself, and it has a meaning that it doesn't have to be added to another word because it has its own meaning. Affixes are prefixes and suffixes, and they are also morphemes. Prefixes are added to the beginning of a word, and suffixes are added to the end of a word. So a root word, usually affixes are added to root words. And a root word can have more than one suffix, like meaninglessness. The suffix, the two suffixes of the word meaning or mean, actually, there are three suffixes to the word meaning or mean. The ing, less, less, and ness, ness. More about word structure. There are two types of suffixes. There are grammatical suffixes and derivational suffixes. The grammatical suffix adds information like that makes the word plural or singular. So, for example, the word dog is a singular word. You really don't need to add anything to the word dog to make it singular because dog itself is already singular. But if you wanted to make the word dog plural, you would add an S, and the S is a grammatical suffix. Also, grammatical suffixes show possession or past, present, or future tense. So, if you had a word like walk, you could change the tense of the word to the past by adding ed, or you could change the tense of the word to mean the future or the present. So actually, you would do nothing to the word to make it future tense or present tense. Future tense, you probably just add the word will. But the present tense, you just use the word walk. And possession, say for instance, we would have the word bone. And if the bone belonged to the dog, you would add an apostrophe S. So you'd say the dog's bone, DOG apostrophe S. And word families are basically all the words that you can make by adding affixes. So if you had the word kind, you can make kindness, kindless, kindlessness, kindly. All of those affixes, all those suffixes are added to the word kind and they are all in the same word family. If there were prefixes that you could add to the word kind, those would also fit. I'm not sure of any prefixes that you can add to the word kind, but pretty much any verb that you can, or any word, I mean, that you can add affixes to would be um, a word family. Contextual analysis would be basically using context clues to help you figure out the definition of a word. So in order to use context clues to help you figure out the definition of a word, you would look for the definition of the word in the sentence, or the word would be, there would be a rewording of it, of the unknown word. So, for instance, if we were to use the word kind, you would say, the boy was kind to the dog. He was very nice. So nice and kind have the same meaning. Now, if you use the word kind in a sentence and you didn't know what it meant, you could look for examples of the word and other details that explain the definition of the word. So um, you would say the boy was very kind to the dog. He fed the dog, he walked the dog, he played with the dog, he hugged the dog. Those are details that explain the definition of the word kind. You could also look for synonyms and antonyms, and we know that synonyms are definitions of a word that mean the same thing as the word, and antonyms are definitions of the word, words that mean the opposite of a word. So if we were to use the word kind, you would say the boy was very nice and kind to the dog. Or if you were to use a synonym, an antonym of the word, you would say the boy was very kind to the dog. He was not mean to the dog. Also, you could use substitution, or you could switch the word that you don't know with another word. So if you were to use the word kind, you would say the boy was very nice to the dog. So you substituted the word nice for the word kind. So that's all I have for right now, and you can stay tuned and come back later for the sub-competency 2, which is to determine the denotative and connotative meanings of words and phrases, including the meanings of homonyms, synonyms, and